Brittny Dyre, welcome to my living room.
So happy to be here and to join you from my home office.
And where is that located?
So I'm out on Long Island.
Oh, very nice. You're not too
Yeah.
far. I'm in Jersey City.
Yeah.
So today we're going to talk about the wedding industry and the hit that it's taken in the wake of COVID-19. So many brides and grooms are canceling their wedding or pushing it back, and it's so sad.
It is so heartbreaking. You don't expect having, waking up on what should have been the happiest day of your life and just have binging Netflix on your schedule. And it's affecting the industry so much. Yes, couples are being forced to postpone or cancel. And also in turn, that's creating this huge loss of income for wedding pros. So we're also seeing this entire industry just kind of crumble because they do not have that income coming in. And now we're looking at June weddings being postponed. So May, June, these are like the big wedding season months. And so this is a huge, huge hit to the industry, couples and wedding pros alike.
Yeah, and June is the most popular wedding month, especially in the Northeast, correct?
Yeah, well, fall weddings have kind of taken over since in the last couple of years, so like September, October, but June is definitely up there. And so we're looking at June weddings now currently being canceled. And honestly, I think we're going to be lucky to see fall weddings happening like at normal capacity. I obviously, don't know what is in the future, but I kind of foresee like weddings by the time we get to the fall. Yes, we'll be having them, but I think we'll have to keep them at kind of, 50 people or less. And so your big weddings and big celebrations that, people are planning, they're either going to have to adapt or they're going to have to postpone to a date that kind of accommodates their guest needs.
That's so sad. I actually have a wedding out on Long Island in June. So there you go.
Yeah.
End of
You
June.
probably won't go to it.
Oh,
It's awful. I feel my heart just hurts so badly for these couples because, you've spent a year, maybe even more planning and saving and dreaming of this day. And then it's just, taken away from you. And I hope, couples absolutely have the right they need to mourn this. They need to really understand that they have a right to be upset and be sad. I hear a lot of people just in the media and on social media saying oh, well, at least you're healthy, at least this. Yeah, but it's your wedding. I mean, it's a big deal, and they should absolutely feel the right to just really, take the time to mourn it and grieve it. It's a big loss.
yeah, and you had that date circled on your calendar.
Yeah, 100%.
Probably got presents with the date monogrammed on glasses.
Yeah.
Yeah, so it's tough. So what advice do you offer couples in looking to rebook and reschedule their weddings?
Yeah. So like I said, now we're kind of looking at, June weddings being canceled even into August. So the biggest thing, so there's two ways you can go about it, and you really have to determine what you prioritize. In New Jersey, your marriage license is valid for up to 6 months. So if you already have your marriage license, you could technically still get married. It won't be a big thing. It'll be literally just you, your partner, and the officiant. But if that's something that you prioritize, whether it's, health insurance reasons, visa reasons, just sentimental reasons, you really want that date because that was, your parents' anniversary or the date that you met, you can still have a legal ceremony. So when it comes to that, you want to find an officiant who'd be willing. Obviously, you want to stick to the no social gatherings rules and go to an open space, open park or your front yard, somewhere that's open, and bare minimum, I'm talking just do the legal stuff, 1 to 2 minute ceremony, stay 6 feet away from each other or from the officiant. Make sure the officiant is 6 feet away. At this point, you're probably already living together, so you've been quarantined together. So the couple can be together, but the officiant needs to make sure to stay 6 feet away. And, hand the marriage license, don't hand it to the marriage license, or don't hand the marriage license to the officiant. Like, set it on the ground in a folder so it doesn't blow away. Use gloves, and then you walk away and then they take it. It's not the most romantic setup, but if, you want to get married on that wedding day, you already have your license, which, marriage bureaus are currently closed in most areas. So you would have to already have applied and received your marriage license. That's an option. And then you can have a big celebration at a later date. Option two is postponing. And the first thing that you're going to want to do with postponing is you want to communicate it to all your guests. So you may not even have a date set yet, another date set, but you want to just let them know, hey, due to, COVID-19, we're unable to move forward with our, celebration. We want to prioritize the health of our guest. So I know some stationers are actually creating change the date cards, like save the date, but change the date cards that couples have been sending out. That's like in line with their stationery and their whole like wedding branding. But you could also just send an email, and just let people know that this is happening, but not at the date that we were planning. So people can really just cancel their travel plans and just make the changes on their end. And then you want to connect with all your wedding vendors and try and find a date that ideally works with everybody. It depends on their availability, and you may not be able to get all the same wedding pros that were on your, dream team of list, but, just start the conversation and give them grace. They are busting their butts right now trying to accommodate all their couples. So if your wedding is in, late August, then, hold tight. They may not get back to you immediately because they're trying to juggle, their June couples and their May couples and reschedule for them. So communication with your guests and your wedding pros are definitely going to be the first step that you take, and finding, another date that works for everybody or as many people as possible. Look at your contracts, do a deep dive in your contracts and really go over what it says as far as, is there a rebooking fee? What if, the venue isn't available for another date that works with your photographer, but there's not, your photographer is non-refundable. So, okay, then you're going to go with the date that the photographer is available on because, you can get your money back from the venue. So it really just, you have to kind of take all these logistical things into consideration and play, it's like a puzzle, putting it all together and figuring out what works for as many of your vendors as possible, financially as well.
Absolutely. I mean, I know all these wedding vendors and venues, they have rebooking fees, but I wonder if they're getting waived now in light of everything.
Some of them are. Yes,
Right?
some of them are, some of them aren't, because again, they're getting a huge loss of income. So, rebooking fees are allowing them, it allows them to make up for some of that. Because you have to think about it, like, if they were supposed to do a May wedding for 2020 and you now want to do May 2021, well, they would have had a wedding on May 2021. That same date. So instead of two weddings that they're getting money from, it's just one wedding, your wedding. And so that's the reason why, rebooking fees, because when you book them, you give them a deposit to hold that date. So it's, it's tough for everybody, and some of them are waiving it. And then some of them, aren't able to. And I think it's really important to just kind of have that communication, have that open, honest communication, and give each other grace. We're all taking a hit. We're all struggling right now, in various ways. So it's just, have patience, have grace, have understanding.
You know what I'm wondering, because so I've had two weddings in my life. One was the big blowout, 250 people, traditional. Okay. The other one, last year, I can't really call it an elopement, I guess, because I brought my family with me, but myself, my husband, and 10 others, we went to Anguilla. and we had
Oh,
a wedding.
fun.
Yeah, no, it was
That
amazing.
sounds amazing.
Yeah, it was amazing. And there's pros and cons to both.
Hmm.
Obviously, with the Anguilla wedding, because it was a second wedding for both of us, I wasn't inviting my friends, my family. I didn't want to, because the first wedding was 4 years prior. So I didn't want to do that to them. But anyway, I wish that they were there, but there's something to be said about the smaller one because I really soaked in the day. I remember every moment. It truly was about the two of us, and it was really beautiful.
Yeah.
So we toyed with the idea of having a party when we came home. It never happened because the moment it was over, the moment passed. What people did, our friends and family took us out to dinner, or we had mini celebrations. I just didn't have it in me to plan a big event. So this is my roundabout way of asking you, are you seeing couples that maybe do the quarantine wedding and then just because they're over it after a while, just canceling the big shebang?
Yeah, 100%. I mean, going back to like micro weddings have kind of been on the rise anyway. So I think after this, we're going to see it even more just because, they don't want to. It's just, it causes so much stress, and having to like postpone it, like, oh, I have to wait another year. So that's another year of stress, of anxiety. Absolutely. Like people are just like, screw it. Like, I just want to be married. Let's make this legal and go about their lives. And yeah, I'm absolutely like seeing couples do that, because they don't want, wedding planning, you did the big wedding, how stressful it is in those months leading up to it. And there's, and they thought they were at the finish line, and then it's like, oh no, you got another like 5 miles to go.
Yeah, exactly.
They don't have it in them. So absolutely, I think that's definitely, going to be something that is happening. And again, I encourage couples to really read their contracts because there might be non-refundable deposits. So you are allowed to take the financial, if you're willing to take that financial hit. Sometimes it's worth it, sometimes it's not. Just depends on the individual vendor contracts. But yeah, no, it's absolutely like, and I don't blame them, to be honest,
Oh no, it's just such a disenchanted time. But what is the saying? The worse the wedding, the better the marriage. So
I have heard that.
yes, everyone's marriages that are coming the most perfect unions ever. So hopefully, talk to me about your platform and what your platform is providing brides and grooms during this time.
Yeah. So Love Inc. So loveincmag.com is where you can find us. And the whole aspect of Love Inc. is it's an equality-minded wedding publication. So it's equal representation of hetero and LGBTQ plus wedding content. And right now we're just providing, we did a huge like guide on just frequently asked questions regarding, COVID-19 and weddings, how to handle, wedding vendors and all that good stuff. And I'm churning out more content as we go. I did an article on things that you can do to still, if you did have to postpone your wedding, things to do on what would have been your wedding day to make it still feel special. Because like waking up on your wedding day and it's like, okay, let's binge watch like Tiger King, like
wearing your wedding dress.
Yeah. So one of them was, so I suggested doing I've seen some DJs do, like wedding DJs are doing these sets on Zoom or Skype. And so coordinating with your wedding DJ to do like a first dance, play your first dance, and you can do like a slow dance in the safety of your living room, or even do a set with like some friends on your Zoom and kind of have this like Zoom dance party. I suggested doing like making a scrapbook together so that you really like puts into perspective, from like the course of your relationship, but really puts into perspective of like why you're getting married, and kind of, it's not just about the florals and the cocktails, but like, kind of brings it back to the meaning of marriage. So doing like a scrapbook together, or working on a DIY project for the wedding. I know DIY projects seem to be a lot of people start them and they never finish them with weddings just because they don't have the time. And we have found ourselves with a lot of time, some of us. So doing a DIY project. So it kind of like allows you to still be excited about the wedding, allows you to still feel like something is moving along with the wedding. So it helps kind of mentally and emotionally with that. And then, and it gives you have time to do it. Another one was, having a picnic in your backyard if you have a backyard. Maybe, if you're planning on doing, Mexican food for your reception, or, getting takeout from your favorite Mexican restaurant, just little things that allow you to bring elements of what you were planning for your wedding into the day and making it, feel special. It's obviously never going to take the place of it, but at least you're not just waking up and having it feel like another quarantine day.
Yeah. So I know you're all about love, but I have to ask this question. Are you seeing engagements breaking?
I haven't seen any engagements breaking, at least from no readers have shared their sad stories with me. So far, I mean, I don't know what goes on behind, with all of our readers, but I haven't seen any trends of engagements being called off because of it.
Reaper, but no, because you're hearing a lot about divorce rates and divorce inquiries rising, right? But I haven't seen anything about engagements breaking, maybe couples taking this as a sign or something to just reevaluate where they are and dismantling it that way. I was just wondering.
Nothing. I mean, there hasn't been any studies or anything that has come out yet about it. And we'll see how this plays out. Maybe in a month.
No, this is really awesome. So before we get off on here, how are you spending quarantine life?
I am in the safety of my home. I haven't left. I have a almost 3-year-old toddler. So my husband and I have kind of been, taking shifts on watching her, and working, and just trying to, play the work from home parent. It's really hard, but we're managing. So
that's awesome.
Can't complain too much.
Well, I'm sure your 3-year-old loves having mom and dad around all the time.
It's them, and I'm actually pregnant. I'm due in August.
Oh,
so thank you. So I'm seeing this as, a way to spend more time with her before, bringing home a newborn. Well, actually 2 newborns. It's twins. So it's allowing me to get all this extra time with her that I wouldn't have had because we do daycare. She goes to daycare. So, so it's, it's a blessing in disguise in that sense. And I'm glad that we're able to really just enjoy this time together as a family, and we're making it work. I think it's, I hear a lot of, couples arguing and stuff right now, which I totally understand. But for me, it's, allowed our relationships to be even stronger through all this, just because of the teamwork that we're being forced to have. So, no huge complaints, just going crazy, stir crazy like the rest of the world.
Absolutely. Do you know what you're having?
Not yet. No, I should find out. I will be 20 weeks in a couple of weeks. So I'll find out then. Yeah.
Nice. My sister-in-law is due August 14th.
Oh, awesome.
When's your due date?
So it's early September is the official due date, September 7th, but because it's twins, it's likely going to be end of August. So
hopefully, by August.
I hope so. I was a little worried before that they, because they were saying no partners in the delivery room. Yeah. So that was scaring me. They changed that. So since they changed that, I feel a lot better. That was kind of what was scaring me the most. But since they changed that, it's going to be really stressful if we're still in quarantine and having 2 newborns and a toddler at home, but with no help, we'll figure it out.
Yeah, no, if we'll have bigger problems than even that.
If it's still, oh my gosh, seriously.
Brittany, this was so fun. Please take care of yourself, especially since you're taking care of 3 people.
Thank you so much.
Yes, absolutely. And give your website one more time.
lovinkmag.com. And you can find us on social at lovinkmag across all platforms.
Awesome. All right. Well, thank you so much, and keep safe to all the brides out there. We're with you.
Take the time to grieve. You deserve it. It's a big deal. So
absolutely.
Yeah.
Well, thank you, Brittany.
All right. Thank you so much.
Bye.
Stay safe.